say every object carries a memory. Some objects are harmless, like a ring, a book, or an old photograph. But some hold something darker. This story begins with a pair of black leather shoes, scuffed at the edges, old, but strangely intact, ordinary at first glance, yet no one in the house ever bought them. Clara noticed them first. She lived alone in a quiet rental house on the edge of town. One morning, she came downstairs, and there they were, the shoes, neatly placed at the bottom of the staircase. She frowned, picked them up, checked the soles, dusty, worn, but solid. She set them outside the back door, shrugged it off. But that night, she woke to a sound. Footsteps, slow, heavy, crossing the hallway outside her room. Her heart froze. She knew she was alone when she finally opened the door. Nothing, just silence, except the shoes had returned, sitting neatly by her bedroom door. The next day they moved again, first in the kitchen, then by the front door. Once, in the middle of her living room rug, pointing directly at the sofa where she had fallen asleep. Every night, the footsteps returned. Not random creaks, not the house settling. No, it was a measured walk, heel to toe, slow, deliberate. So Clara set her phone to record. When she played it back the next morning, her blood ran cold. For nearly 2 hours, the sound of footsteps echoed in her hallway. Back and forth, back and forth. But the video showed nothing, just darkness. Terrified, Clara called her landlord. When she mentioned the shoes, the man grew silent. His face darkened. Finally, he sighed. There had been another tenant once, Harris Cole, a shoemaker. Strange man, quiet, kept to himself. For 30 years he worked in that house, day and night, and he wore the same pair of black leather shoes, his favorite, his pride. Until one morning, the landlord found him, face down at the top of the stairs, his shoes still on his feet. The coroner took the body, but when the landlord went back inside, the shoes were gone. Until now. That night, Clara locked her bedroom door. She even shoved a chair under the handle. She placed the shoes in the basement, out of sight. But at 2:47 a.m. she woke. Footsteps coming up the stairs, closer and closer. The chair rattled against the door. Once, twice, then silence. In the morning, she opened the door. The shoes were waiting for her, right outside, and this time muddy footprints stretched down the hallway until they vanished into nothing. Clara had enough. She drove 10 miles out of town, stopped by a dumpster, and left the shoes inside. Finally, she felt relief. But that night, at 3:12 a.m., the footsteps returned, louder than ever, pacing, relentless. She pulled the blanket over her head, trembling. Then, silence. The footsteps stopped. Right outside her door, the knob turned, slowly. 3 sharp knocks followed. When she opened her eyes at dawn, the shoes were inside her room, at the foot of her bed. Desperate, Clara called a priest. He came, blessed the house, and warned her, do not acknowledge the shoes again. Do not touch them. For weeks, the house was silent. Until last night, because this story isn't Clara's anymore. She left months ago. The landlord rented the house again. And this morning, the new tenant found a pair of black leather shoes, waiting in the kitchen, perfectly aligned, facing the table. And last night, they swore they heard footsteps. So if you ever wake to the sound of footsteps in your hallway, check the floor, because the shoes may have found you next.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe our channel for more interesting stories.